I hope I've said his name right, the Managing Director of Frontier Sports South Africa. He'll be talking to us a bit about sports marketing. And of course, next to him is Madam Maggie Ireri, the Managing Director, Trans-Africa Media East Africa. Wow, what a mouthful. She'll also be giving us insight into what's happening on the local front in regards to sports. But we have another guest in studio, larger than life in every sense of the word, Willis Raburu. What's going on?
Hi, yeah, it's like you said, it's good to, I almost said good morning. But it's good to be here. Welcome to Manif. Unfortunately, the most unfortunate thing is we're talking about Arsenal. But anyway, this is what we call an occupational hazard, so I'll do it anyway. Talking about a team that I don't really like, but here today we're going to be talking also about the transfer watch, where all the money is going. Preferably, I wish it was in my pocket, but apparently they're spending a lot of money to get other players. We'll be looking at that. And today also our question that I want you to engage us on, the hashtag is MandaFootball, as always, and also 22422 is, I mean, you've watched the games of the weekend in Sekafa, and you watched Gor Mahia play. The mighty Gor Mahia, Gor Mahia. You watched them play, and so we want to find out, after seeing the games, do you think that Gor Mahia is poised to win Sekafa? Is it the best team in Sekafa so far? Hashtag MandaFootball, 22422. Yes, sir. Wahiga.
Yes, sir. Ding dong. I beg your pardon. Bernard
Ding ding.
Bernard
You know that day was actually started.
Yes.
I was walking around somebody actually called me Ding Dong.
Yes.
I just responded and I said it's
Camille
fine.
Bell.
Well, the show begins with a bang, definitely. And of course, this afternoon we are honored to also have two other guests. I want to make extreme left, that is Joshua, and then also Mr. John. These are two gentlemen who will be facing off in the video segment, the Xbox. We'll try and find out whether or not Joshua has been able to step up. The past few weeks, the game was absent, but it's back. So let's find out whether or not he's actually stepped up. And also have, as usual, our resident DJ, Mr. Crossfade, is on the decks just to give us some soundtrack, just to give us, put us on a mellow mood as far as music is concerned. But Monday Football begins. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the show this afternoon. Sights and sounds of Sekafa. Mike Okinyi gives us the lowdown on what is happening at the 2015 Sekafa Kagame Cup in Tanzania.
Soaring above the defense and putting it in the net. And look at the... They are close to being...
Hat-tricks for sale. Jesse Were notches up his second consecutive hat-trick against Sofapaka.
The first time in this...
The Premier League may still be on a break, but your favorite teams are in action this weekend. Find out how they perform. And on the transfer watch, who is going where, when, what for, and why? We tell you.
Well, as always here on Monday Football, we have an action-packed show lined up. And right now we're crossing over to Dar es Salaam where we join Mike Okinyi. Mike, mambo vipi? Naomba nikusalimie tafadhali.
Naomba nichukue salamu zako Wahiga. We are learning a lot of Swahili here. There is no more English. You have to speak Swahili sanifu, not even Sheng Wahiga.
Right, Mike. I know Saturday was a big day for Gor Mahia and a big day for Kenya. Tell us what happened. What was the mood like? Give us those details.
Well, Wahiga, today is day 3 of Sekafa 2015 Kagame Club Championship, and so far we've played 6 matches. 6 matches played on 2 days, that is Saturday and Sunday, and we're on day 3, whereby we have got 2 matches that will be played today. And the first match will pit Telkom of Djibouti versus Al Khartoum of Sudan. But then the next match is what we are interested in, and that is Gor Mahia versus KMKM of Zanzibar. KMKM are saying that KMKM now has changed the acronym, and it is, they say KMKM means now Kikosi Maalum cha Kuangamiza Kogalo. So we don't know what will happen in that match, Wahiga, but when we came in for the first game on Saturday, not a single person believed that Gor Mahia could pull off anything against Yanga. We prepared something small for you just to show you how the mood was before the match and what the fans had to say about that game.
The National Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania stands out as an iconic masterpiece. The 60,000-seater is the main stadium for all the international matches in Tanzania, both for clubs and the national team. Outside the stadium, green and yellow are the preferred colors as young Africans, better known as Yanga, prepare to take on Gor Mahia from Kenya. As early as 4 hours to the game, they trooped in their numbers. Yanga has been impressive at home, and given that record, their fans dare to dream of a big victory. Their fanatical support is unquestionable. So what do they think of this match?
Mechi kama kawaida, Yanga 3 Gor Mahia 0, kwa sababu wanavaa kijani kama sisi. Wangekuwa wanavaa nyekundu tungewapiga 5-4.
Believe that we're going to defeat Gor Mahia today, and our team Young African is doing well. We have the capacity, we have all the management are ready, and we the fans we are ready for everything what will happen. But we believe that today we will defeat Gor Mahia.
Tunashinda Yanga Dar es Salaam, Yanga African tunashinda goli 3 bila.
Sema kama mimi hapa ni timu Dar es Salaam Yanga Afrika. Ukiona manyoya ujue keshaliwa. Terminal Sports Club Ubungo. Nasema kwa moyo mmoja kwa dhati. Yanga Afrika kama Yanga Afrika. Anapiga mtu goli 3 hapa zilizosimama. Najua Mwenyezi Mungu atubariki sisi. Sawa, hatujamkosea Mungu. Sio Tanzania, kombe ni abaki Tanzania hadi hii hapa. Wameishi.
Gor Mahia fans were not left behind. The handful that made the trip to Dar es Salaam were backed up by a few thousand Simba fans who would support anyone playing against Yanga. Gor fans would walk out of the stadium the happier lords, Gor beating Yanga 2-1. For Yanga fans, they were stunned, not believing the scoreline at the final whistle. A couple of Gor Mahia players impressed them, but mostly one striker. That number 19 is Michael Olunga, scorer of the winning goal, and now a subject of a bidding war between the top 3 clubs in Tanzania, Yanga, Simba and Azam, who all are chasing his signature.
Well, Wahiga, that was the match. That was the preview of the fans, what they were thinking before the match was played.
We also prepared a package for you on how the match actually went. Gor Mahia came out winners, and the form book has not been upset. Yanga has never beaten Gor Mahia at Sekafa Club Championship, and this was a big test for Yanga because they're in pre-season while Gor Mahia has played 18 matches into the league. These are the highlights of that game.
It was billed the final before the final, given that both Gor Mahia FC and Yanga boast of very passionate fans who follow their teams all over. Yanga started with their tails up, forcing Gor Mahia to defend deep. The pressure paid off with an early own goal. Gor Mahia's Innocent Wafula almost equalized but fluffed the chance. With Gor Mahia settling in the match, tension was high with tackles flying all over. Boniface Toluoch produced a superb save from a header to deny Yanga the second goal. Two quick fire attacks by Gor Mahia finally produced the equalizer. Harun Shakava's goal was what Gor Mahia needed as they went on full attack. A red card with 10 minutes to half-time gave Gor Mahia an added advantage as they went to the half-time break level on 1-1. Yanga had the chance to draw level from the penalty spot, but the weak effort was saved by Boniface Toluoch. With the clock ticking, Yanga fans could not take it anymore and left the stadium one after the other. Gor Mahia on their side were having fun on the pitch. Final score, Yanga FC 1, Gor Mahia 2.
Yanga is a good team, and it's football. We all play football. No matter where is Yanga, no matter where is Gor Mahia, we all play.
I think you've got to respect every team that's here. Apart from Khartoum, every other team's a league winner, and Khartoum are also a good side as well. So I think there has to be respect for the teams. The teams are good teams, good players, well organised, well set up. So you know, it doesn't make the job of life any easier.
Well, Wahiga, that is what you see here now.
Too many fans in the stadium. It's nothing like you've ever seen in Nairobi, Wahiga.
Yeah, that's right, Mike. In fact, our question today, we are asking the viewers, whether they feel that Gor is the best team in that group in Sekafa. What's your take? What are people saying on that end?
On this end now, the favourite tag has shifted from Yanga and Azam, who are playing here, into Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia is the talk of town in Dar es Salaam. And when I asked the coach about the pressure that might come with that, he says they do not need to change their target. Their target was to come out of the group stage and qualify for the quarterfinals, and that's what they want to do. And if they win today, then it means they will have qualified for the quarterfinals, and the remaining 2 matches, they can go easy. They're not playing again until Friday and then on Sunday. So that is what they'll be doing. But then the most interesting bit again, Wahiga, is that Simba are not playing in this tournament, but the second largest group of fans are from Simba. The rivalry between Simba and Yanga is nothing you've seen in Kenya. Gor and FC is shadow. There's nothing there. This one is the real deal. We spoke to 2 fans of Yanga and Simba, and this is how it went on the stadium. It was very hilarious. Wahiga.
Karibishwa kina nani? Wanataka ligi ya mchangani. Ligi ya mchangani sio professional. Sisi kimataifa zaidi. Yaani sisi ndege ndio usafiri wetu, tukienda na Mwanza ndege. Hawa mabasi tu mpaka na uwana Morogoro kuna ajali. Sisi ni juu tu. Wakenya ni wenyewe mahela, ni mahela. Mwana kama anavaa.
Huyu anaongea kishabiki. Mimi naongea kisoka kitaaluma. Ni kwamba hela iliyopo Yanga ndio ile iliyopo Simba. Lakini siku zote zile kutakuwa na siasa kidogo. Kidogo kisisi upepo umenyumba kidogo. Lakini hela ipo na tunasajili vizuri. Miaka 4 waulize mtani Jembe hajatufunga. Goli 5 hapa. Kagame hajawahi nipiga, anaongea tu.
Wale kuna na njaa usiwasikiliza. Miaka 4 hawajulikani kwenye ligi. Kama nani wale? FC Leopards ndio wale pale. Ya Tanzania ndio FC Leopards. Haieleki soka tena.
Hawa pia wangojao leta hapa ni watu wa Yanga wote watu watashambikia timu pinzani. Walioanzisha ni hawa, sio sisi. Sisi hatu kuanza mtindo huo. Wao ndio walichokonoa na tukaanza. Hivyo wao wanapenda kushangilia timu pinzani na sisi tukawa hivyo tu. Na wanapigwa leo.
Hata wakifika finali mwezi kuwashabikia.
Finali gani? Hata akija hapo FIFA Mplata hiyo kabla hajastaafu ainua kombe, sisi tunashabikia timu pinzani ya Yanga.
Hatukuanzisha sisi. Wao wanatamaa kwa sababu ya njaa. Mafanikio yetu sisi wao wanaumia. Walikuwa wameenda kuweka kambi mkoani kwa hela hawana. Wamekimbia wamekuja kuangalia timu yetu sisi. Hao machizi. Hao hamna kitu.
Sisi kama Gor Mahia tumekuja kuokoa wale mmekuwa mkidhulumu. Tumekuja kuokoa marafiki zetu Simba ambao nyinyi kama Yanga mmewadhulumu miaka nyingi sana. Leo hii sisi kazi yetu ni kuokoa wanyonge.
Hapo sawa.
Tumekuja kuokoa wanyonge na tunakuja kuadhibu vikali timu hii yenu ya Yanga.
Mtatufunga kwa sababu ya pati nyekundu sawa. Haina shida.
Well, that's it from us, Wahiga. That's what we've prepared for you as far as Monday football is concerned here at the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam. We are live here. For those who are thinking that we cannot go live from anywhere in East Africa, this is Citizen TV live for you from the National Stadium in Dar es Salaam. Wahiga.
Indeed, thank you so much, Michael Kinyi, that live there from Tanzania. Of course, he's covering the Sekafa Club Championships that are ongoing in Tanzania. And of course, later on in the afternoon, Gor Mahia will be in action against KMKM. He'll definitely have the highlights of that particular fixture. Now, let's take a look at other stories making headlines in the world of football. And the Harambee Starlets jetted back to the country today after a 1-0 loss to Banyana in the 2016 Olympic qualifier. Despite the 1-0 loss, the Starlets have been applauded for their valiant effort in the face of a team that regularly competes in the World Cup and African Cup of Nations tournaments. The team also paid a courtesy call on the former First Lady of South Africa, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, in a Soweto home. The Starlets will face Banyana again in a return leg on the 2nd of August in Machakos.
All right, let's also take a look at other stories. And Jesse Were scored his 2nd consecutive hat-trick as Tusker FC hammered Sofapaka 5-0 in a Kenyan Premier League match in Machakos, or Mayakos if you like. Eugene Asike and Noah Fuller scored the other 2. Let's take a look at those highlights.
With a goal, and Tusker have taken the lead in the 23rd minute for his Tusker goal. Dennis Nganga floating, an opportunity. Oh! And it's a goal! Well, it's Eugene Asike scoring against his former club. English Herbert Mochiro and Arnold Kanyangonda. Tusker! An opportunity for Jesse Were, and he makes it 4. Was for Sofapaka. Saska celebrate their jig. So they are close to being scored again by Jesse Were. And Jesse Were gets goal number 5 and will be going home with the match ball once again.
Well, Ulinzi Stars clinched their 3rd victory in their last 4 matches, beating Ushuru 2-0 at the Afraha Stadium. Eric Apul scored the first in the first half, inspiring the second by teammate Oscar Wamalwa, who struck home with a scorcher. Here are those highlights.
Very well, Joshua Oyo scored the lone goal for Chemelil Sugar as the Millers edged struggling KCB by a solitary goal in a match that was played in Kisumu. Here is it.
Right, as always, we love your interactions, and we've been asking you to interact with us on the hashtag Monday Football. We asked a question. We asked, after seeing, and you've seen Michael Kinyi there and the Sekafa over the weekend, do you think Gor Mahia is poised to win, or is it the best in Sekafa currently before they play KMKM? I like saying that, KMKM. And the hashtag to use is Monday Football. Let's just take a few of them. Somebody's asking, and I'm going to read an array of them from the question and just your interaction. Did Mike understand what that guy was saying? He was talking fast, I think you mean fast, and in Swahili sanifu. Yani wakasema yani kama Mike Kinyi alielewa kweli jinsi ule jamaa alisema ama alikuwa anakatoa midua kitu kama hiyo sasa. Shawana man. And then there is somebody saying, Simon Koech at Simon Koech saying, say hi to those beautiful Arsenal ladies. Yes. So hi to the beautiful Arsenal ladies. Lakini musupport Manchester. Mungu awabariki. Obalu _ Kelly says, Gor Mahia ni moto kama makaa. Walichapa Yanga FC. Serious. Hashtag Monday Football. I'll take 2 more. Somebody is saying, ati mtu ambie Willis Raburu atafute jazi. Ama mini coach. Mini coach. So musinicheze. Mino coach wa hii team. That's what's up. And then somebody also saying Gor Mahia is the best at Ras _ John Tess. I think the Ras is the Rastafari man. So Wagwan, wherever you're watching from. They say Gor Mahia will be the best team to win the Sekafa tournament. Hakuna kunishana. Shawana man. Wagwan selector. Keep them coming. Hashtag Monday Football. Wahiga Maura man.
Let me tell you something.
How would you get the Jamaican accent out of 10?
Out of 10, man.
I think it's a 7.
What I'm thinking is,
you've been to Jamaica first of all.
I'm appealing to all the comedy shows in the country, man. If you need extra talent, Willis Raburu is here. And if you know how someone can get paid for reading tweets, Raburu can also do that for a living as well.
Yes, I can.
Raburu, whatever you took, please give us some of that at the end of the show. Moving on now, Mathare United moved up 1 spot to 9th position in the Kenyan Premier League standings after a comfortable 2-0 hiding of Thika United at the Nyayo National Stadium.
Kamura, no flag, goalkeeper off his line, they shot a goal, and it's the first goal for Mathare United in the 21st minute.
Well, they took up cognizance of the absence of their central defender, Vincent, and took numbers.
That's on the run. Oh, managed to get to the ball. It's Noah Beach. Strike inside. Clinical for a Beach. It's Mathare's second goal of the game. And a Beach knows it. And he says, yes, this is it. Must be a new jig.
Bernard Mangoli rescued FC Leopards from the jaws of defeat, scoring twice for Ingwe as they edged City Stars by 2-1 at the Nyayo National Stadium. City took the lead early in the first half, but Mangoli proved to be the hero for AFC Leopards, scoring both goals.
Shoot! Oh, what a goal! Beautiful entry point there for City Stars. Ndungu with a fantastic goal, calm under pressure.
Look at that pass from the middle from Bagea. Ndungu picks his spot. He knows exactly where the keeper is.
Moment, Kijiwa and Amati, definite contact. Decides on a run, Mangoli with a penalty inside. It's Leopards back in the game. It's 1-1 in the 64th minute. Shot a goal, oh, what a goal! Second goal of the afternoon. Logan Rusi. AFC Leopards, Masika with the cross. The clearance from Masawa. Mangoli finding himself in the right place with a scorch.
Well, Wahiga Maura, of course, if you looked at the stadium then, I'm sure our guests have just seen the number of fans who are attending the matches. How can we ensure that that increases even tenfold? I'm sure that's one of the main talking points would be...
and translates to money in the pockets
exactly.
of the players.
Exactly.
I think that's something we're going to be talking about quite a bit, because that's been the cry. We're very proud about how far our league has gone as the Kenyan Premier League.
Yes.
It's being filmed in HD.
Big strides.
Hooliganism cases are going down, and we have some statistics on that, which we'll be going through shortly. But the players are still complaining that Mskumo, I know Raburu can help elaborate on that a bit more.
Their money in their pockets.
Yes.
Exactly.
Good. Dom, thank you for that. This is one of those weeks when we have lots and lots of interesting visitors coming to Kenya. And now we talk to one of them, Mr. Richard Glover. That name will keep giving me challenges because he put another one in my head. But nevertheless, glad to have you in Kenya. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you. And Maggie, always a pleasure. Been looking for you for some time.
Thank you.
I'm glad you've been able to make it for our Monday football show. Is this your first time to Kenya? Probably.
No, I've been a lot over the last 2 years. We're doing a lot of work up here, so I always enjoy my time up here.
Right. Now, something that I have been asked since we talked a bit about you coming on the show yesterday on a different platform, your link with Arsenal. I know you don't want to dwell on that too much because that was in the past, but nevertheless, there were lessons you learned there. What did you do for Arsenal? And my director does have some clips which he can run of the club in pre-season. What was your involvement with the club and when?
So I worked for Arsenal in another life a few years ago. I worked in the commercial team, and I was there at a very interesting time in the club's history in the move from Highbury to Emirates Stadium, which was fascinating in terms of the business model around the club. Unfortunately, the club didn't win a single trophy when I was there. So since I've left, they've won 2 FA Cups. So maybe it was my fault and not Arsene Wenger's fault. In terms of the lack of success.
The ladies behind will be commenting on that. Talk to us about the financial model of English Premier League clubs, and of course borrow heavily from Arsenal. How do they make their money?
Yeah, Arsenal are a fascinating club because it's really woven into the DNA of the club about being a self-financing club. And what that means is if the board disappeared one night, was kidnapped by aliens, for example, the club would still survive. And that's really been a key focus of the club. And I don't think you could maybe say the same of the likes of Chelsea. What happens if Abramovich disappears, or Man City if their Middle Eastern owners disappear? So self-financing has really been a core ingredient of the club from a business model perspective.
What do they do with, okay, I guess the club's core, and maybe Maggie you can come into this as well because we're coming to the Kenyan Premier League shortly. A club's core source of income would be maybe TV rights, fan base, so fans buying tickets. So those are the two I see as the big, and of course sale of merchandise. What does Arsenal do with the money once they get it?
Well, it's actually interesting because the Arsenal business model and to a certain extent clubs in England's business model is very, very different to KPL clubs in that, yes, broadcasting is the biggest revenue stream. It accounts for about 40% of Arsenal's revenue, and then you'd expect sponsorship to be number 2, but that's not actually the case. Sponsorship actually comes in third at about 20%.
Who's number 2?
The second biggest revenue stream, and this applies to a lot of football clubs in England, is actually what they call match day revenue, ticketing, hospitality, food and beverage. So Arsenal plays about 25 home games a year, and they make from food and beverage and hospitality alone £3.5 million a match day. So times that by, what is it, 160 shillings to the pound, I think it's about that. And it's absolutely crazy money. So it just shows you the different model.
We're literally heading into the billions with that. So per match day, these are whole matches, 25 of them. Of course, they don't make money from away matches, but they're jerseys and
yes,
uniform.
very much so, yeah.
Right.
So it's a really fascinating business model, and it's one that KPL clubs could learn a lot from.
Maggie, when you hear all these numbers, what do you feel? And of course, tell us your role in this in regards to the Kenyan Premier League. What are you doing for them? Maybe that's where we could start this discussion with you.
Yes, about 2.5 months ago, the company I work for was appointed to be the commercial agency for the Kenya Premier League. What that means is, as priority number 1, is that we're supposed to get them a sponsor because money talks, and when they have money, they're able to do much more than you can imagine. So that's what we've been doing for the last 2.5 months, and I can say we are this close to getting a sponsor.
How hard has it been? I'm curious to find out.
Let me say interesting, not hard, because sometimes you call a corporate and they're like, good, come to my office, I want to hear about the Kenya Premier League. And then there are those who call, we call and they are like, and let me tell you what I concluded.
Meaning we're not sure.
Am I really going to want to invite you to my office to listen about the issues to do the Kenya Premier League?
Yes.
And they're like, no, maybe next week, next month, and they don't return our calls sometimes.
Oh, no.
But I think the key thing we found out, it's an issue of perception. There's a perception about football that is not very positive, and it touches on the Kenya Premier League, yet the Kenya Premier League is one of the most organized sports associations or federations in Kenya. So the perception that is negative on football is touching on KPL. But when we get into their offices and we talk about the Kenya Premier League, and they're like, wow.
And you give them the numbers, how many fans come watch the matches, blah, blah, blah.
We give them the numbers, we give them facts about how they can get a return on investment. We even tell them how much they can get out of sponsoring. One of the key things that they find interesting is that you can actually get 60% more value by sponsoring a team than actually advertising.
Let's talk about the challenges you face selling the league. Is it because of the name of the league, or is it because of possible perceived challenges with individual clubs? And maybe that's to do with hooliganism or anything of the sort. So where did you find was the biggest? Would they refer to clubs as the problem why maybe they may not want to come aboard? Or
you've touched on one interesting thing, which is hooliganism. They say, oh, if you're to sponsor football, there's going to be fans and maybe players becoming a bit violent and all that. But interestingly, we have facts. In the last 7 years, there have been about 1,600 KPL matches, and only 22 of them had crowd trouble. That's what, 1.3%. However, I want to blame the media beat here.
Where's Ndong? I'm not alone. I don't want to be alone in this being blamed.
I think when there's crowd trouble, I think the camera and the media just want to show that clip, and then it's on TV, it reflects negatively. Yes. So the violence or hooliganism is not that much. However, it's been blown out of proportion.
Mr. Glover, how can clubs in Kenya brand themselves to then begin to attract that sponsorship? May a day come when it's the corporates calling, looking for the clubs, rather than the clubs running around town looking for the corporates? What do we need to do?
Well, there's a number of things, and we could be here for hours in terms of what clubs in Kenya need to do. But I think in very, very simple terms, it's about telling the right stories and telling the right stories about their clubs. Because going back to Arsenal, if you think of Arsenal, you think about a couple of things. You think about history and tradition.
That's
you
right.
think about the style of football. You think increasingly now about the success of the club in the last 2 years. You think about
since you left.
Since I left. So Arsene Wenger's relieved I've left. Yeah. You think about the business model, and that's almost the DNA, the brand DNA of the club. And I think every club has unique elements, and it's really important that clubs in the KPL really identify what those unique elements are and start telling those stories to corporate Kenya. Because as Maggie says, there's some very strange perceptions about football in this country, which if you look at the data, it doesn't actually line up or equate.
So the rumors have become almost truth.
Correct.
And the truth has then been relegated to the periphery.
Exactly. Those are wise words.
Wow. I don't use those words normally. I don't know what your effect you bring here. Maggie, when you got the KPL contract, you must have had a vision you painted for them. What are you hoping to achieve in the next 2, 3, 5 years?
Definitely sponsorship, excess of it. We want to ensure that the stadiums are full.
For
fans.
So the fans are watching, they need to come watch the matches?
Yes, and this is not just to watch the match. There needs to be much more, apart from watching the match, other experiences. You may find that some people may want to come to watch the match, other people come for other things like entertainment, music and all that. So we want to ensure that the fan gets to the stadium and gets a good experience. And over and above that, we want to ensure that we work together with KPL and the teams to reduce the incidents, the low incidence of hooliganism.
What can we do, and I know my time is almost up, to bring up the basic pay of Kenyan footballers to an acceptable standard? That's been the biggest problem. I can see parents whose kids want to play football, but they tell them, is that a job? Can you leave football and get a job? Meaning, to many, football isn't a job. So pay is a big issue. I don't know who would like to...
I'm happy to come in. I mean, you need to look at football as an ecosystem. And at the moment, that ecosystem is growing and evolving in Kenya. And as that ecosystem grows, more money will come into the game, and that money will flow through to the players. So it's a very interesting time in Kenyan football at the moment, and it just feels like it's a sport that's really about to explode over the next 5 or 10 years. So if I was a corporate, I'd get on board right now.
So football is a sport to get onto
definitely,
right now?
Definitely.
Wow. Well, we'll talk more in just a bit. And of course, you having traveled all the way to Kenya, we've got a DJ here. And maybe at the end of the show, we'll see whether you can teach us a few dance moves? What song should he be looking for? We'll save that till the end of the show.
I want a surprise.
You want a surprise?
CrossFit.
Look for the best song, and we'll be trying some. I don't know the Madam Maggie here will also join us in that.
I'll be the cheering squad.
We'll be the cheering squad. All right, Manat Dong, over to you.
Thank you very much, Wega. Very insightful discussion there. I wish I had some pen and paper at least just jot down some notes. Very important talking points as far as sports sponsorship is concerned. Now, this segment here is the video segment, and we have John and Joshua here. And it's interesting, Wahiga, that John is a Chelsea fan and Joshua is an Arsenal fan, and both of them are facing off on the video game, and it's 0-0. And I'm interested in finding out from John. John, the new season is coming up in about 19 days. The English Premier League will be kicking off, of course, with the Community Shield. And these two sides will actually be facing off. What do you feel about as far as Chelsea is concerned? Do you feel they can be able to clinch the Community Shield? Arsenal has been quite formidable as far as the pre-season matches are concerned.
Sure.
Just look ahead, yeah?
I think we're going to win the Community Shield.
Yes.
As well as the title.
Yes.
Because as the season begins, the defending champions going as the favorites to win the title.
Yes.
So I have very high hopes in my team.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we brought in Falcao. So yeah, we're going to prove a point to Manchester United.
Yes.
That Van Gaal is nothing but just a normal person.
Van Gaal is nothing but a normal person. You're not touching on Arsenal. You're going to be facing off with Arsenal. Yes.
Okay. Basically, what I think about Arsenal is when we kick off the league, the Community Shield.
Yes.
They are going to prove a point because definitely we sold Peter Cech to them.
Yes.
And I think that's going to be a bonus to them.
Yes.
Because he's going to prove his point that you guys sold him.
Yes.
You didn't see my worth. So I'm going to show you what you're missing.
I'd like to bring in Joshua. Joshua, the signing of Peter Cech, do you feel he will actually be the turning point as far as Arsenal is concerned? Will that turn Arsenal's fortunes finally, at least for them to be able to win a league after the class of the Invincibles more than a decade ago?
Yeah, I think...
Just talk to the microphone.
Sorry, I think he's an important player.
Yes.
And he's a brilliant player. We haven't had a brilliant keeper for a while.
Yes.
Since maybe David Seaman.
Yes.
So now we've brought in a world-class keeper, and I think he'll do his work properly.
Okay.
Because we've been losing matches based on our defenses and our goalkeeping mistakes.
Yes.
So I think we're going to show Chelsea in 2 weeks' time.
Yes.
We're going to show Chelsea that we can do something.
Absolutely. Raburu, you're a Manchester United fan, but that's said and done. And
Yes.
this season is kicking off. But he talked about world class. We have a world class DJ right here, DJ
world
CrossFit.
class DJ CrossFit. Kwanza ningependa sana kusema dhambi imefanyika, lakini I'm in the mood of Monday and I forgive you, my brother. Ati Van Gaal sijui is nothing. Anyway, ngoja hata sisi tutaleta mademu. Unajua mademu wa Arsenal are very good to date and to marry. So because they're very patient. Wamengoja sana trophy.
That's a salvo right there. That's a salvo right there.
Ni juzi tu walianza. So, anyway, remember you can continue to interact with us on the hashtag Monday Football. We've been asking you about Sekafa. I mean, Gor Mahia has been playing. I've been seeing some of them. I'll talk to CrossFit and sample some of them. Gor Mahia is playing in Sekafa. Today they're playing KMKM. And so we want you to see, from what you've seen, do you think Gor Mahia can even go ahead and lift?
You know one thing,
win?
Rabure, also it's important to give you as a statistic. The
Yes,
last
yes.
time that Gor Mahia won the Sekafa Club Cup was in 1985. That's about 30 years ago. So for them,
Wow.
there's a lot of history as
Yes.
far as tournament is concerned. So perhaps maybe the
Perhaps
30-year
they'll make
hiatus might
history.
end.
30 years. In fact, that's how the thing should start. After
Yes.
30 years. Yes?
Exactly.
So CrossFit. Niaje? Hebu kuna ngoma za Arsenal kweli? Kuna kwanga? Iko hebu nini nguza tusikie ngoma. Yeah.
Just tell the director to put my mic on.
He wants to has a little...
I want to say something here. There's a tweet from Carl Muindi. Carl Muindi is asking Raburu,
yes,
can you lose the tie? This is not a news bulletin.
All right, my brother. So ni mtu wa Arsenal.
So can you lose the tie?
No, to Arsenal na ujui class. This tie happens to
Carl
be
Muindi,
very...
I tried. The man has refused.
Very expensive.
CrossFit, take it away.
Take it nini away. Nasikia hiyo muziki.
Tatanzambe yo kalo samba